Astronauts coming home. It's a wonderful story. They're expected a little before 6 p.m. today, Eastern times. My last question to Elon Musk. Actually, while we're talking about it, maybe the producers could rustle up that last question to Elon Musk, because Musk is a hero. The astronauts are heroes. We're going to talk about it with the best of the best. Miranda Devine, ace New York Post columnist and Fox News contributor. Caroline Downey, staff writer at National Review. And Emily Compagno, co-host of Outnumbered and author of Under the Wings, which is a great book, which I am reading all these anecdotes, the vignettes. It's terrific, terrific stuff. Emily, this is... I won't say it's a miracle, but it's sort of a close to a miracle type thing. Joe Biden left the astronauts dangling, okay? And I don't care what brilliant idea, strategy he thinks he was doing. It was a horrible thing. They're only supposed to be up there a little while. They're up there almost a year. You know, I'm watching Fox News experts coming on saying when they look so lousy, by the way, they're all emaciated, and it's going to take months for them to adapt to gravity, really. So here's this guy, Elon Musk, that the Democrats are going crazy about, Musk derangement syndrome, really pulling off a near miracle and a great service, a humanitarian service, a national service to this country. And you talk about America first. He is America first, and God bless all of them, the astronauts and Musk. Okay, there, I said it.
Wholeheartedly agree. And may I effort further, just a little bit, the fact that we have to acknowledge that of the entire globe's rocket propulsion technology and advancements, Elon Musk holds 90% of it. China 5%, and every other country combined an additional 5%. So not only is everything that you said correct, but he is the only person that could pull off this extraordinary feat. And for the likes of, for example, Senator Mark Kelly to come out, call him expletives, not articulate with any specificity what damage Elon has done.
Wasn't Kelly an astronaut?
That's my point. But he is
incredible.
The one.
That's absolutely incredible.
Disgusting.
Yeah, he's the one unicorn in the universe as an astronaut and as a senator that could have led the pack for gratitude to say this is humanity first, this is America first, and what a beautiful blessing to have this man save these astronauts and bring them home. But instead, he further divided. So I think this goes to show what we've been talking about before, that no one scorns more a traitor. And the left feels that Elon Musk is somehow traitorous or treacherous in that he left the party, that he had the wherewithal to think for himself and to lead the common sense movement, in part in concert with Donald Trump and the mandate of the American people to thin out our bloated government. Heavens help them. That is the only thing he's guilty of. But for that, they can't even celebrate this extraordinary feat today.
Let me just play some tape at the very end of my interview with Elon Musk. Here's how it ended. The astronauts.
Yes, we're bringing them back in a few weeks.
There's not near enough attention being paid to this. You're going to get them back?
We're going to get them back.
All right. And then, I'm sorry we cut it off, but I said God bless, and he said thank you. Miranda, I will also say, in my judgment, there was no excuse. Joe Biden leaves office, leaves the astronauts dangling, says nothing about them, does nothing about them. I don't care what crazy ideas he has in his brain left, but this was a terrible thing that Biden did.
It was a terrible thing, and it goes along with his personality, his character. And Elon Musk told you and has said before that he offered to bring them back earlier, months earlier, and was rejected. One of the astronauts... By Biden's administration.
How is that possible?
Well, I think that part of it was that Joe Biden maybe didn't want to give Elon Musk a win, but also I think he didn't want to bring back one of the Russian cosmonauts that was up there in the space station with them that we don't hear much about. But what a diplomatic sort of overture that was for America to rescue also a Russian cosmonaut and bring him back with the Americans. And, you know, right in the middle of when Donald Trump is trying to effect this, well, pull off this coup with the ending the Ukraine war, that's a great gesture.
Let's just spend a moment on that. It's not a throwaway, your last line. Nothing you say is a throwaway, I might add, or right. Caroline, we don't know all the details, and details will matter. But there's clear that Putin is willing to talk about peace. That much we know, okay? Imagine if Trump is reasonably successful in a peace deal with Russia, Ukraine, and also in the Middle East, because Israel's going to take out what's left of Gaza. I mean, that's coming. It may be coming minutes or days or weeks, whatever, but this is it. They've stopped the hostage release, Hamas, which is the stupidest thing, but I don't care, because Israel should blow them all up anyway. Just imagine if you have a peaceful world, what that would do to Donald Trump's political standing at home. Think about it. I mean, reconciliation, hell, I'd eliminate the income tax. Don't stop it extending it. Just get rid of all of it. You see where I'm going on this. The sky's the limit if he can get peace.
Well, and one of the executives' charges is domestic tranquility. And I think that this war, unfortunately, is hanging over his presidency, and Trump really wanted to end it before he even got into office. Unfortunately, there are other players involved. And I think he's trying to balance between showing Putin's strength, showing that America is putting its money where its mouth is, but, also having a swift end to this conflict and trying to negotiate a deal that lasts, because Russia has this very tricky tendency of unfreezing conflicts when they've been frozen. Remember the little green men? It's very hard to work with Putin.
I know it is. He's impossible. He's a bad guy. But it's in his self-interest, I think. I don't know whether he thinks in those terms. Those are rational Western value type self-interest terms. Maybe he doesn't care about that. But it sounds like he's here. The conversation has resumed. There was no conversation when Joe Biden was president. None, nada, during the whole war, 2.5 years. Now, imagine what all these dopey-dopes in Europe are going to look at. If Trump could pull this off, or something akin to peace, okay? You take a look at Europe. All right, wait, go to the other side of the world. What's China going to think? Trump holds the cards, as he tried to tell Zelensky. Trump holds the cards. If those turn out to be peaceful cards, it gives him unbelievable stature on the world stage.
And if you inverse the lens for a moment and look at the Islamic Republic's goals and Hamas's goals. So one of them was to have a global condemnation of Israel, right? One was to have refuting them as a nation state. It was also, obviously the eradication of Western culture, but it's the complete expelling of the United States in the Middle East. My point is that with peace would necessarily come economic investments and actually robust business dealings, the resurrection of a lot of oil dealings there in the Middle East. So while many of those neighboring states wanted peace for the reason that it would procure and secure their economic interests, all of that would further that. So not only do we put America first by that and further peace, but we also staunchly defy Hamas's stated goals, which the prior administration only emboldened, only furthered by their reaction to this. So I think it's a twofer.
Saudis joined the Abraham Accords.
Correct.
Iran and all those crazies are completely isolated. Completely isolated. Okay, there's nothing left. Saudis take the oil price. They're already in. I know this. I follow the oil markets very closely. West Texas down to $67, $68. Brent crude below 70 or hovering around 70. The Saudis are slowly turning the production dials up, getting oil prices down. That hurts Russia. That hurts Iran. That helps a peace deal in both places. That helps Saudis and the United States get together because they are natural allies, all right? Warts and all in Riyadh. I get that, but they are natural allies. Changes the whole world calculus.
And look, it's back to what it was in Trump Mark I, when he had brought Iran to its knees. And now Scott Bessent is saying that they're going to make Iran broke again. And they're also cracking down on the black oil market that Iran was able to, with the Biden administration turning a blind eye, sell their oil by diluting it or just getting around the sanctions. And that was helping the war effort of Russia in Ukraine. So with the one hand, the Biden administration is paying money, huge, billions to prop up Ukraine in their war effort. And on the other hand, they're actually funding Russia's war effort.
Yes, I agree with all that stuff. I'll go to Caroline in that. I've lost my sound, but we can talk to each other here on set. It's not a problem. I've only done this for about 20 years. Here, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men, go ahead, roll tape, all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Just about my favorite sentence. I think it could be the most important sentence in the English language, and since English is the most important language, it's the most important sentence anywhere. Caroline Downey, why did I quote that? Why did I quote that? Here, I won't do this. I'm always asking.
This might be a trick question, but maybe it's because a lot of Americans have forgotten our
Trump
founding
is hanging
documents.
it up in the Oval Office.
Oh, really?
He's putting a copy of it.
Beautiful.
He can't get the original because it's all parched and whatnot, and that's in the archives. But this is one of these valuable near copies. Donald Trump is putting the Declaration of Independence in the Oval Office. What does that mean? He believes in American values, and oh, by the way, he does believe in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. He does believe in our Creator, and he also believes in the Constitution, unlike a few judges I could name.
Absolutely, yes. Trump has a reverence for our founding documents and our founding fathers. Biden did not, and that was very clear by the way he weaponized all the institutions that they held dear, from the Department of Defense. Obviously, there were departments that were invented long after the founders' time. But Biden abused government to basically oppress the average citizen in a way that Trump is obviously trying to reverse.
By the way, the original Thomas Jefferson told me this. The original was the pursuit of property, but because he was an economic capitalist, but he thought that was too heavy-handed. Miranda, speaking of freedom, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, a couple of important IRS whistleblowers are back on the payroll. Now, these guys deserve, I know we're cutting payrolls throughout the government. These guys deserve, Scott Besson has rehired them as senior counselors, and they will go back at some point to becoming IRS big shots. You wrote your column on that today. You got a minute for us on it?
Look, good on Scott Besant for actually stepping up and bringing these heroes, these men of integrity, dedicated civil servants, back into his office now as senior advisors to help him reform the IRS. Then they'll go into the IRS as bosses, and that's the way it should be. And shout out to Chuck Grassley, the senator who really pushed this.
He was phenomenal. And the IRS needs a little bit of monitoring, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
I'm telling you.
And modernising.
Oh, modernising. How about that? Terrific stuff.